Suzerain, vassal, covenant. Suzerain. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but I'm going to spell it for you. It's S as in Sam, Uzerain, like Suze, Suze, rain. Vassal, Vassal, covenant. Now, suzerain, if you go and look that up, what you're going to find, if you go define it, you're going to find the tetragrammaton, YHWH, which is Hebrew for the name Jehovah. Vassal would be, well, Israel, God's chosen, basically God's chosen, and in a covenant. So this was relationship vows, okay, relationship vows that required um loyalty to God alone. Suzerain, vassal, covenant. I have mentioned that in a post, right? And okay, so I'm not surprised that nobody responded to that. I'm really not. Nobody really responds to my post, and that's fine. That's fine. But I wanted to make sure that I took that time out to explain it. Because, see, the first time I saw it was when I began going over the book of Joshua all over again, right? And then I saw that in the opening to the book, and I'm like, what's that? What's a suzerain vassal covenant? These are relationship vows. This is where God tells us, this is what I'm going to do. This is when God says to us, this is what I'm going to do, but this is what I expect you to do. I expect you to be loyal to me alone. And so when you see that, one of the ways that I think an easy way to help you understand the suzerain vassal covenant is it positions, right? So if you ever seen a chessboard, of course you saw a chessboard, like most people see chessboards, whether you've played it or had somebody play it, there comes a time when you take a piece and you move it into a certain position. And so God will move his people, he will move us. And with the Israelites, when he brought them up out of Egypt, he brought them to a place that he was giving to them, a land that he was giving to them, which is why this was a suzerain vassal covenant. He was giving them this land. He was moving those who were in the land, he was moving them, completely uprooting them out of this land so that he could give it to the Israelites. And that's a big, big, big story about that, which is really amazing, because what you will find, what I found as I was going over everything, is I found that it's really about boundaries. God had set boundaries, and he set these boundaries a long time ago. He set these boundaries, as a matter of fact, like we look at the boundaries and we look at it as being in relation to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? The promises that was made to Abraham, right? But the truth of the matter is, these boundaries were set long before Abraham. These boundaries were set with Noah, his sons, his three sons. So I'm going to show you this. Let's see how much time I got. I got time. I'm going to show you this. Because it would make sense. And when you understand, here's the deal. And this is the thing. I'm looking at boundaries now, and I'm looking at all the areas. Now that I started really digging into this, I'm looking at all the areas where God actually spoke about boundaries. And I got one of them, which caused me to do this video. But let me show you this map first. Okay, so you guys have seen me showing this map many a times. You go online and see this map, and when you see it broken down like this, so let me show you what you're looking at. The yellow represents Noah's second son, Shem. This was the territory that was given to Noah's second son. All this place where the yellow is. But here's the problem. You see that little spot down there that's green? That shouldn't be green. It should be yellow. And you see this little top part up here that's green? That shouldn't be green. It should be yellow. And that over here where you see all the red, that all this turn, and you can't even see all of this territory is really a lot, this area over here. And let me say this real quick. Of all this area over here that is red, guess what is in that area today? What's in that area today would be Russia and Ukraine. This is the area that belonged to Japheth. Okay, and so understanding that and understanding that Russia and Ukraine is in this area, what you will see is, I had to take these glasses off, y'all. I need to get some sleep too. My eyes are looking dark. Anyway, what you would see, understanding that this area belonged to Japheth, is you see family fighting. Now y'all, you guys who have siblings, sisters and brothers, show me one of y'all that have not. No, you don't. You don't have to do that. Most sisters and brothers, they fight. That's what children do. They fight even as they grow up. They disagree. They get into arguments. They stop talking for a little while and they come back together. But here's the deal. They fight each other, but don't you get involved, because if you try to get involved in siblings fighting one another, they'll both come together to fight you. So what you see up here, all this area up here in the red, this area was territory that was designated for the firstborn of Noah, Japheth. And again, this was the secondborn, which was Shem. And this territory around here is the youngest, which is Ham, right? And so we know that Ham had the son Canaan, right? And so now what you're looking at here, this green up top here, this green area is area that God told Abraham, because Abraham grew up down up in here somewhere. And so God called for Abraham and his family to move, and they moved up here, and God showed Abraham all this territory right here. And when he showed Abraham this territory, he said to Abraham, I'm giving this to your children. They were children of Shem. They were Shem's kids. Grandkids, great grandkids. These were Shem's kids, okay? And so this territory belonged to them. So basically what they were doing is pushing Ham's kids back up out of there. And so if you go and read in the book of Joshua, the first chapter of Joshua, what you will see that God said to Joshua, as they were getting ready to take over this territory and move the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Amorites and all them other ites, the bugites, that's my word. No such thing as bugites. But as they were getting ready to move them out of this territory, God said something to Joshua. God said something to Joshua that stood out to me, right? He told Joshua, he said, do not turn to the left or to the right. He told you. Why did he tell? Now, when he told him that, I initially thought that what he had been saying was don't compromise. Don't compromise. Don't turn to the left or to the right. But when I began to consider the map and look at it and really dig into this, because when God was talking to, I'm having to do 2 videos. When God was talking to Joshua in the first chapter of Joshua, if you look at, I think it's verse 4, where he started setting this territory, and he said from the wilderness or the desert area to the Lebanon, or this Lebanon to the great river Euphrates and all the land of the Hittites to the sea, the great sea, which was the Mediterranean. He was setting a boundary, which was all of this. He was setting a boundary, and he said don't turn to the left or to the right. He was setting a boundary. So all this fighting that we in the United States see them doing over there is about territory, but it's also about the boundaries. And at the end of the day, when God sets a boundary, man can't move it. You don't have the authority to change a boundary that has been set by God at the end of the day. All right, I got more to share, but do that later. Bye.